My name is Justin Permenter. I'm a senior immigration advisor with the department known as International Student and Scholar Services. Our primary role is to handle your visa status and to keep you in good status while you are here at UNT. So we're going to talk a little bit about that process, talk about some things to remember. When you do arrive at UNT, you'll actually attend a similar session to this called Visa 101, but it never hurts to get this information out to you multiple times. So thank you all once again for joining us. We hope you enjoy the Kahoot quiz and all of the things to come. All right. So first thing to mention, of course, is that our office is here to help. The immigration process in the United States, it can be complicated, it can be confusing, and that's what we're here for. So we do want to reassure you that we are here to assist you at any time. UNT currently welcomes over 8,000 students and scholars to North Texas each year. And we are committed to providing top-notch, culturally sensitive services to UNT's international communities. Our office, we hope, is going to be your primary resource for anything related to immigration matters, but we also just want you to feel heard. It can be scary, going to another country, of course, a different culture. The food is different. Everything is different, really, and that can be overwhelming at times. So we want you to know that there is a team of people here who cares about you, who has traveled abroad themselves, who may speak other languages, and we are primarily here as a resource for international students. So we're going to help you navigate through that whole process throughout your time at UNT. And you can see that our contact info is there on that slide. So before we get too deep into it, just some key terms, things that we don't want to take for granted that you understand what they mean. The first is a visa. And in our case, we're going to be referring primarily to an F1 or J1 visa. A visa is granted at a US embassy or consulate, and it basically serves as an invitation to the country, and it can be granted for differing lengths of time. Now, you'll also hear the term status. This is actually what we are primarily concerned with because your F1 or J1 status is what governs your standing with the government. It refers to the various rights, benefits, responsibilities of a specific visa category. But as I said, it also refers to your standing with the government. Are you in good shape with the federal government? And as an F1 or J1 scholar, once again, our goal is to keep you in active status. Now, a lot of you guys may have heard of what's called the I-20. This is a very famous document for F1 students, or if any of you are pursuing a J1 visa, the DS 2019 serves a very similar purpose. These are the primary documents for F and J1 students, and it includes all kinds of important information, like your program dates, the degree level that you're pursuing. Is it a master's degree, a doctorate degree, etc.? The type of financial support that you have, and lots of other crucial information. Just so you know, you're probably going to end up getting several of these I-20s or DS 2019s throughout your time at UNT. Now, we're not going to go into supreme depth here regarding CPT or OPT, but these are very important to most students. So we do want to at least touch on those a little bit, let you know what those are. And we do actually have specific presentations throughout the year for CPT and OPT that focuses just on those with, of course, the resources on our website as well. Just very briefly, CPT stands for Curricular Practical Training. And what that is off-campus employment authorization that's either required by the student's degree plan or maybe otherwise integrated into that academic curriculum. So the key word being curricular practical training. Now, once you finish your program, you may also want to apply for something called OPT, which stands for Optional Practical Training. And what this is 12 months of off-campus employment authorization, which you can request once you're done with your degree. And most of you guys, if not all of you guys, are going to be STEM qualified students. So you actually get the opportunity to then extend that employment authorization for an additional 24 months, or basically 3 years in total. So that's a really good opportunity for you there. Now, just some common questions. How do I request my I-20 or my DS 2019? So the first thing you need to do is be admitted to UNT. I believe all of you guys are admitted, so that's good. Next, you'll receive a link, if you have not already, to an information portal that we call iNorth Texas. In iNorth Texas, there is an e-form, typically down at the bottom of the page. And I'm sorry, Lisa, if we could just go back to the previous one there. Yeah. And you could submit that e-form to request your I-20. To do so, you're going to need to submit some information like a copy of your passport, just a biographical page, a proof of your financial support, if that's through your own bank account, if that's through a family member's bank account, maybe an educational loan. You might be getting some funding from UNT, a scholarship or a GA or RA or those types of positions. We will then approve your request and then issue you your I-20 or DS 2019 via email. All right. Another common question is, all right, once I have my I-20, how do I obtain the visa? So once you have that I-20 document, the first thing you want to do, of course, is print it out and make sure you sign and date it by hand. What are called designated school officials, like myself and my colleagues, we can sign it digitally, but the student still needs to sign it by hand. So make sure that you use a pen to sign and date that document. You want to, of course, look it over, make sure that everything looks correct. Sometimes mistakes can happen. A name is left off, or maybe city of birth is incorrect. There are things that can happen. But once you've looked it over and you're pretty sure that everything is correct, you want to then go to this website, fmjfee.com, and there is a fee called the CVIS I-901 fee. It is going to be connected to your specific, what's called CVIS ID, and that's going to be on your I-20. So you'll need to have your I-20 first before you go to pay that fee. The UNT school code is also on there. And just so you know, the current fee for F1 students is $350 or $220 for J1 students. Next, you're going to want to complete a form called a DS 160 to request an embassy appointment. All right, and this is what the DS-160 homepage looks like. Just so you know, it's done through the U.S. Department of State. You do not have to actually interview in your home country. You can do this at any U.S. embassy or consulate. Most people, of course, will choose their home country, but if the wait times are just too long, or if you have relatives or someone in a neighboring country and you may want to travel there, you are allowed to do so. Just be aware that some countries will give priority to their citizens first, so you may be kind of at the back of the line if you are coming from another country. All right. Continuing on with the how do I obtain a visa, you'll next need to attend an interview with a consular official, either at an embassy or consulate. And an embassy is usually in the capital city. There are other consulates throughout the country in most cases. Again, as we said, this does not necessarily have to take place in your home city or country. Some people do prefer to travel, and that's perfectly fine. The F1 visa is to the United States in general. It's not necessarily from a specific place. Now, you want to bring relevant documents, things like proof of your financial support, a lot of the same documents that you just gave to us to get the I-20. In some cases, that consular official might ask to see those, but in some cases, they may not. I say that each interview is unique. That is very true. Honestly, probably none of you guys will have the exact same experience when it comes to the embassy, and that's okay. It's different for everyone. So I can't really, unfortunately, give you an exact idea of what questions they're going to ask you, but we do say, be prepared to answer questions regarding your intention to study. You do want to talk primarily about school. Even though, of course, you may have career goals, you may have a desire to potentially get sponsored for an H-1B visa later on, or become a permanent resident or whatever else, all of that's perfectly normal. But in this conversation, you really want to focus on the school part of it. You are here on a student visa, and therefore you are going to focus on school. And whatever happens after that is, of course, just what happens with life. So be sure to mention your intentions to study. They also like to see what they call ties or connections to the home country. So you can mention that, yeah, my family still lives here. I have a spouse or a fiance or a job opportunity or some other connection to my home country. I'm just coming to the United States to study, and then I intend to return home. Then again, if that doesn't end up happening in the future, so be it. All right, so we're going to take a brief pause here, and we're going to do our first Kahoot session. So if you guys wouldn't mind just signing in to join the Kahoot, Lisa's going to pull that up. Just a second.
Yes, and actually, I was waiting for more people to get here to do the poll. I don't know about all of you, but everything that Justin just spoke about in the PowerPoint was actually news to me. So I wonder about all of you, how much you knew about what he already shared. So let's try a poll. And so I can get a little feeling. First of all, I want to know, what did you know? What do you know about UNT? And finally, what programs are you coming in to study? Now that more of you are here, I'm going to launch the poll right now. And please answer the questions when you see the poll. There are 4 questions here. The first one is, what do you know about US immigration rules for F1, J1 visa holders? You can go ahead and start answering. And then if you scroll down, you'll see another question about how many total students do you think UNT has? Don't Google, just guess.
Honor system here.
Yes, and there's no prize for the winners of the poll. And then about what percent do you think international students make up at UNT? I was a little surprised. I did Google to find this information and checked with Justin. And then what program are you joining at UNT in fall 2024? We are the College of Information. Of course, UNT has other programs, but you're joining our college, one of 12 colleges inside the University of North Texas. And everyone here should be choosing one of our majors. If you happen to find out from a friend that this was happening and you're not choosing one of our majors, that's okay. That's okay. We're UNT affiliated. We're happy to have you here as well. So go ahead and get I see that several people are answering, so that's great. Go ahead and get your answers done. I'm going to give you about 30 more seconds. Then we'll end the poll and we'll look at our results. And Justin, don't you answer and skew it.
Yes, I politely declined the
Yes.
invite there. Yeah.
Yes. And also we have one of our other colleagues, Sandy, on board. She's helping us watch the waiting room and making sure getting into the room, which is great. Thank you, Sandy, for that. So also, Sandy, don't answer the poll and skew the results. Okay, we have about 25 out of, no, it looks like we have almost everybody has answered. So this is your last chance. 97% of you have answered. Going once, going twice, and we're going to end the poll and check the results. Okay, let's take a look together. So we can see that that's good. Nobody knew nothing, right? Are you seeing the results, Justin?
I am, yes.
Okay, great.
And just so you know, that 97%, I think I'm probably the 37 because I
and
it, so.
maybe Sandy as well.
Yeah, perhaps.
And then we have about 25 people know a little bit. 8 people know a lot. Oh, 3 people know everything. You might be surprised. You might not know everything, but I'm glad to hear your confidence. And then the correct, I see that we have it all over the board, but most of you chose the correct answer, which is about 45,000 students. Now, about 30,000-ish of them are undergraduates, and the rest are graduate students like all of you. I believe most of you are graduate students, if not all of you. 100,000, my goodness. Maybe that's a good goal for the future, right, Justin? Can we sustain it? I don't know.
Maybe if we take over another building, I don't
know. We'll have to take over another town, maybe.
No.
Okay. And then I asked what percent international students make up, and you were smart enough. Nobody chose 0%. Good job, everyone. And then we have 5 to 6%. Something, a few years ago, that was correct. 50%, we're not there yet, but 10 to 15% is the correct answer on that one. So good job to 21 of you. And then, oh, this is exciting. I can see we have 20 data science students here. Excellent. Did you know that we've been ranked number 2 in the country by Fortune magazine for the on-campus data science program? And then 9 are health informatics. That is also a highly ranked number 2 program, not ranked by Fortune, but another ranking organization. And then we have 1 learning technology student here. Welcome. We are growing the learning technologies artificial intelligence concentration program. And that one is also highly ranked, also in the top 5 by another ranking organization. And then information science, they're also ranked number 2 in the nation. So you've chosen some great programs to join. I'm going to stop sharing the poll now. And we're going to go ahead and open our first Kahoot. So let me get it. The Kahoot only has a few questions. So here we go. You can see that you're going to join the Kahoot. Here comes the way to join. You can either scan the code or you can go to kahoot.it and put in the number that they give you. So here's the number. Here's the code. Join the Kahoot game now so that you can maybe win a badge. Thank you, Sandy, for putting the link in the chat. Okay, Roshini, you're first. Good job. And then we have Vaishnavi. I probably won't try to say all these names because I will probably mispronounce some of them. So please, I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Looks like we have 12 people in, and I know we have, let's see, we have 40 participants minus 3 of us. So we have 37 possible players. And apologies if, you know, your particular internet connection is not allowing you to join. I know sometimes, or if you've joined on your phone, it may be hard to get in, but keep trying. I'll give you a few more minutes to get in. We have 23 people in, 24. I'm going to give you about another minute to get joined. I see a lot of names that I've seen before in our other students. So hopefully I'll be able to pronounce your names. And like Lakshmi, that's a name I hear on even NPR News. Justin, do you listen to NPR News?
I do.
Okay. So do you ever hear Lakshmi Singh on there?
For sure.
So she has helped me know how to pronounce that one. Okay, we got 29 people in. 31. We're getting close. So close. Only 6 more of you that need to join. I'm going to give you another 30 seconds, how about? And then we'll get started. And if you didn't get joined, that's okay. We have many meetings planned between now and the time that you arrive in the United States. And when you arrive in the United States and you come to Denton, Texas, and you join us at Discovery Park for our in-person meeting, you'll get to exchange these badges and points for actual physical prizes. I'm going to keep it a secret so that, you know, you'll be excited and surprised when you get it. Okay, we're up to 33, down to 32 now. That's not a good sign. That means people are getting knocked out because they're waiting too long. So I'm going to go ahead and get it started. Okay, we're back up to 33. I'm going to start the game now. If you didn't get in, apologies. We're up to 34 now. All right, here we go. Do your best. Some of this you just got told. I hope you remember. And that's a beautiful picture of our University of North Texas campus in front of the Welcome Center. Okay, uh-oh. So some people didn't have time to answer. You were maybe you were Googling.
Lisa, we didn't see that screen. Is there a way to restart that?
You didn't see the screen?
I did not.
Okay, so you have to look at the screen and look at your phone. Did you all join with your phones? I guess I should have said that. Sandy, what did you miss? What did you see and what didn't you see?
I am on a second window on my browser of my computer, and I just saw some colored boxes, but I didn't see the question or anything.
Oh, okay. So you should be able to see the question. Do you see the question, Justin?
I do, yes. Where do you get an
I
I-20?
see the question on your screen. Is that where we're supposed to look?
Yes. You're looking at my screen. Good, Sandy, I'm so glad you're helping the students. Maybe we should start over, right? So you're looking at my screen, and then you're answering either on your phone, if that's how you entered, or on your device. If
yeah, think of your phone as like your remote or whatever that you're.
Yeah, you press the button. Okay, thank you for saying something, Sandy. I will start it over. Let me see if I can get out of here.
Call this the free space.
Yes, everyone gets a free space, exactly. So,
or we could just go to the next question, if that's okay too.
Okay, well, we'll try that because we do have another section of the game, because I am having a hard time figuring out how to get back without
breaking
starting
everything
over. Yeah, let's not break everything. Okay, here we go. Next question. So first of all, we do have a top person, which is Swaroop. I hope I said that correctly, Swaroop. And then Vaishnavi is second place and Himam is third place. So some of you knew what you were doing.
Tied
Let's see
with
if we...
Lakshmi Priya.
Oh, that's true. They are tied. So we'll see who comes out ahead at the next one. Here comes the next question. It's true or false? Okay, more people are answering now. 2 seconds. 1 second. And that is true. Good job. Everyone got it correct. So now let's see who was fastest. Uh-oh. Okay, so we still have our number 1 player in the number 1 spot and our number 2 player in the number 2 spot. And it looks like maybe the third place spot changed, right? Pranitha? So let's go to the next question. This one is multiple choice.
I like some of these answers.
Yeah, I always have to put some, silly ones in.
Mhm.
Or if they're Googling, they might find one of these answers. Okay, so 21 of you were listening carefully to Justin and you got the right answer. 8 of you must have Googled and found that on Google. And then 1 of you, maybe you were just thinking about CPR, right? So let's go ahead and go to the next question. Let's first see if we've had any changes. Oh, Swaroop, you're keeping that lead. And then Pranitha moved up and Vaishnavi moved down to third place. Got to be fast and you've got to also get the right answer. Getting the right answer is most important. I think we have 1 more question. Looks like they remembered this time. They're fast.
Yeah, this is an important one.
Yes. Okay, good job. So 11 of you remembered that Justin said that if you're in a STEM program, you get that first year OPT and then it can be renewed for 24 more months. Is that correct, Justin?
Correct. Yeah, or we use the term extended, but yeah, for sure.
Extended. Okay, extended. And then 1 year only, I think that's correct for anyone, any program in the United States, correct?
Well, any STEM qualifying program. The formal way to actually know this, the government uses something called a CIP code, CIP, and on your I-20, you'll have the name of your program, such as data science, but then there will be some numbers after it. And if you really want to confirm that, the government has a list of those CIP codes that qualify for it. But most, if not all of you guys should be STEM qualifying through the College of Information.
But even non-STEM students do get at least 1 year OPT.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Every F1 student does get at least 12 months of OPT unless they use it. There's actually 2 different versions of OPT. There's what's called pre-completion, which means before you finish your degree. It's really similar to the CPT that we talked about. So most, if not all, students who are interested in working off campus before they graduate will do it through CPT. But for example, I used to work at a school that did not have CPT, and so we might have them do their OPT early. Not to throw too much information out there,
but they would use
much
some of that time as a
correct.
CPT.
Yeah, they're just doing it before they graduate instead of after.
Okay. Well, let's see who the winners are. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay, so we ended up with Shiva as third place. And Hemant as, oh, what happened? We lost our first place that held first place the whole time. Good job, Vaishnavi. I'm writing down the names so that I can make sure to apply your points. And Shiva, the 3 of you, could you please put in the chat your last name? And then also, if it's okay to put your name, your first name only, on our website with your badge, let us know. So Sandy, if you don't mind taking down that information for me when you see it in the chat, that would be great. Okay, let me get out of here. Oh, I still have my Kahoot open and it's singing to me. I gotta close that window.
Oh, that was just me. I'm sorry.
That's funny. Okay, let's go back to our PowerPoint so that Justin can teach you more great information about the immigration rules, and then we'll do another game after that. Okay. There. All right, everyone's looking at my screen again?
Mhm.
Okay, so real quick, you see here, and I didn't give you a chance to answer in the chat. Did you know that according to collegefactual.com, this is UNT, the entire university is a popular choice for international students. It's ranked 69th out of 1,204 universities, which is pretty darn good, right?
Top
Why
100.
why do you think so? Why put your answer in the chat. Why do you think, oh yeah, top 100, thank you. Almost top 50. Why do you think that UNT, University of North Texas, is so popular? Did you do any research on Denton, Texas, University of North Texas, and such to know why you chose this place? So I'm asking you, students, you please put your answer in the chat and we will record your answers. Okay, in the meantime, let me go ahead and get us over to the next screen.
Perfect. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so in our office, we like to use this acronym FACTS. So we always tell students, remember the facts. And we're going to go over each of these individual letters, but just so you know, the F stands for full-time student, the A is authorized for work, C is changes to status, T, timing of documents, and S, stay in touch. So again, we're going to go over all of these in a little more detail, I believe. But before we get to that, this is my director loves her infographics, so this is a more graphical representation of different things. I'm not going to go over all of it, of course, but some important things to highlight. For graduate students, we're going to primarily focus on you guys. You need to be enrolled each semester, and by each semester, I mean the fall and the spring. The summer is actually not a mandatory enrollment period. Now, your graduate program might have you take classes. You may just want to take classes on your own. That's perfectly fine, but these rules would not be applied for that summer term unless you're starting in the summer or it's your final semester. But in the regular fall and spring, we require graduate students to be enrolled in 9 credit hours or more, and at least 6 of those credit hours do need to be here on campus. They can't be online. So sometimes students will ask us, hey, can I take multiple online classes? You can, but be aware that only 3 hours of them will count towards that 9-hour requirement. Also, you need to make sure that your enrollment is finalized by what we call the census date. You can find those dates on the UNT academic calendar. Basically, you don't want to take, half the semester to get enrolled in the right number of hours. You want to get that done in the first couple of weeks. And any kind of part-time enrollment, there are a variety of different reasons, perhaps health reasons or other things related to, circumstances beyond your control that might require you to be enrolled only part-time. And we can approve that in most cases, but you'll need to come by our office or make an appointment with us to get that approved. All right, so going back to our acronym FACTS, the first one again stands for full-time enrollment. So when you're entering the US on your initial I-20, one important thing to point out is you're only allowed to enter the country no more than 30 days before what is listed as the program start date. Now, that's the program start date, not the initial class date. Usually what we'll do is put the program start date about a week ahead because we understand that you'll need time to get here to attend orientations, to make final arrangements for, housing and various other things. There's a lot to do in those first couple of weeks of arrival. So we want to give you as much time as we can to do that. But the rules of the visa will only allow you to enter 30 days, basically a month before your program start date. Once you do get here, we have a process called immigration document check-in. And to do that, you're going to log into iNorth Texas, and you'll complete that process through there. At some schools or universities, you may have heard through a friend or a sibling that you had to attend a session and physically hand your documents in. We have too many students for that, so we do this electronically through iNorth Texas. You also want to make sure that your enrollment is correct. Sometimes a class might not make, as we call it. There might not be enough people enrolled and that class might go away. So you want to make sure that when you get here, your enrollment is still meeting those rules that we talked about. Make sure you're not signed up for too many online classes. And again, finalize that enrollment by the census date. And you also want to make sure that you begin your classes on the first day of the semester. Now, there are some students who will need to arrive late for a variety of reasons. We can approve that. You'll just want to reach out to us. We do have an e-form to request a late arrival, but there is a cutoff point. For most students, there will be a point where we say you have to arrive by this date. If you can't, you may need to defer to the next semester. And if you come in too late, that can negatively impact your immigration and your academic status. So don't show up 2 months late and just expect to join classes. That would be a problem. I also wanted to point out that we do have some videos and other relevant information you can see down here at the bottom of the slide. Of course, you can always contact us via email, but if you want to bookmark that link, we do have some more info about the traveling and entering the US process. We don't want to bombard you guys right here with too much information, but it is important to review all of that if you get a chance. All right, next item on our acronym is A. So that stands for Authorized for Employment. So this is very important to point out. I know a lot of you guys may even be mid-career professionals at this point, but we do want to reemphasize that F1 students are only permitted to work on campus for a maximum of 20 hours per week. Any type of off-campus employment has to have prior authorization from both our office and in many cases, a government agency known as USCIS. Now, again, we will have dedicated presentations that really dig down into the details of that OPT and CPT that we talked about earlier. But just so you know, everyone, regardless of whether you're F1 or J1 student, you can be authorized to work on campus. Many students work in things like dining services, the library. Had a student who was working for transportation services. Most academic offices, including our office even, will have student workers that answer the phone, work the front desk, that kind of thing. So you're more than welcome to apply to those positions as well. But now we get to the bad part. Any unauthorized work can result in some very serious negative consequences, such as loss of your immigration status altogether. You can be required to depart the United States. It can even impact future immigration requests. So if you're wanting to acquire a work visa or permanent residency, but they determine that you worked illegally without authorization, that can negatively affect those as well. So don't risk it. It's not worth it. We encourage students to take this very seriously because it can have very serious consequences if you don't follow the rules.
And, Justin, going back to what you said about having office workers, student workers in your office, I think one of our students, Gaurav Govindani, he's from India, and he was a student worker in your international office, maybe not with you, but with Lauren, I believe.
Yep.
And he's an undergraduate bachelor's of science and data science student. So, and he's doing an internship at Tesla right now.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah, we have quite a few international student workers in our office, and that would go for most offices on campus as well. Okay, for the acronym facts, the C stands for report changes. So basically, anytime something changes, most common change, of course, is a new address. Student moves to a new apartment or a new house. You want to report those changes within 10 days. You can actually update your address in your my.unt.edu portal, which is different from iNorth Texas. iNorth Texas is all about your immigration stuff, but the university also wants to know where your address is. That way we can mail you any documents that we need to or any notices. So it's important to keep those up to date. I know everyone moves around a lot. I moved pretty much every year that I was in college. It happens, but just make sure to update that address and try to do that within 10 days of the change happening. Now, if anything changes about your actual immigration status, let's say you get married to a US citizen and you file for marriage-based permanent residency, let us know about that. If you decide to, if for example, a company decides to sponsor you for an H-1 visa, that might happen while you're still in an academic program. Talk to our office and we can assist you with that process and how to report it correctly. If for any reason you fall out of status, I myself and several of my colleagues can assist you with getting reinstated, and we can go over your options there. So anytime something big happens with your status, do make an appointment with us or come by for drop-in advising, and we'll be glad to assist.
And speaking to that out of status issue, I know that it's so important to check your UNT email often because your office will be contacting them by their UNT email, which can be forwarded to their personal emails. But I don't know if you want to speak to that, but I know we had students when I was at the ILI who didn't check their UNT email and they ended up with a expired I-20.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. That's a very good, important point. When you're first coming over, we will send it to whatever private email that you put on your application, because we understand prospective students aren't used to yet checking their UNT email. We'll actually send it to both. But once you're here, it is actually our policy to primarily, if not exclusively, email to your UNT address, and that's basically just for security purposes. We want to make sure this is very important. Identity information. We don't want to put you guys at risk. Unfortunately, there are some, very bad people out there that do tend to prey on international students. So we want to keep you guys protected and keep your information protected as much as we can. But you do have to check your email. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. All right. Next item on the acronym is T, and we want you to pay close attention to timing. So one important, very important date to remember is the program end date on your I-20. While you're here, while you're enrolled, that program end date still needs to be in the future. Don't let it get to the end of that program. If you need to request an extension or need more time for any reason, let us know that in advance. Once that program end date comes and goes, we actually can't backdate something. We can't fix it retroactively. And unfortunately, that does happen just about every semester. Some students get caught with an expired I-20. So telling you now, make sure you keep an eye on that program end date. For most of you guys, you'll actually probably end up finishing early. Many of our students do finish their program sooner than what's on the program end date. And in that case, we will shorten it, for example, when they want to begin OPT. But if you do, for any reason, if you change degree programs, if there's a medical emergency or something else that's going to delay your process a little bit, just make sure you request that extension in plenty of time. Also, you want to make sure that your passport is valid at all times, and we encourage students to keep at least 6 months of validity on their passport. So, for most of you guys, you'll have several years left on that passport, but if it's about to expire, make sure that you get that renewed in plenty of time. Also, you want to plan your final semester of enrollment carefully. I know right now we're thinking more about the first semester and coming in, but it will get to the final semester before you know it. So when you do get to that step in the process, contact us early to talk about the next steps, whether that's OPT, whether that's maybe filing for a change of status or various other things, maybe starting a new academic program. If you want to go on to do a second master's degree or a PhD or something else, let us know early so we can give you all that information as soon as we can. And as we mentioned, but we want to reemphasize, you can only work off campus during those authorized dates. So remember the dates that you have, especially when it comes to CPT. CPT, you have to very specifically list, I'm going to start employment here and I'm going to end employment here. And you can't start early, you can't go beyond that time. So you need to make sure you're keeping those dates in mind.
Yeah, and I'd like to make a comment about the what was I going to say? Oh, the final semester.
Final semester, yeah.
Yeah, the final semester that that sometimes you might find that you don't they have to come in and see you also if they're going to be in the final semester, they don't have a full load of classes to take.
Yeah, that's a great point, Lisa. So it's very common for a student. We talked about how graduate students have to be enrolled in 9 semester hours, but it's very common for you to get to the end of your program and maybe you only have one class left. And in that case, we're not going to force the student to take 2 additional classes just to meet this arbitrary number. Instead, you would do what's called final semester reduced course load, and that's going to be approved in conjunction with the graduate school. So Toulouse Graduate School will actually get a copy of your graduation plan. That will confirm that, yep, this student has done everything. They just need this one final class, and they'll confirm that for us, and then we'll approve it and put a special note on the second page of your I-20 that says authorized to drop below full course load, final semester. So that way, again, you're authorized to just take that one class. It does still, in that case, have to be an on-campus class, can't be fully online at any time, but you would not have to go sign up for 2 extra classes and pay for 2 extra classes just to make that 9-hour number.
And Justin, you also reminded me when you mentioned that they could go on for another master's or a PhD, that I wanted to tell them that we have a wonderful PhD program in information science, which has a data science concentration or a health informatics concentration. So if you do decide, hey, I want to, go on for further education, you can even stay with the College of Information and apply to that program. And a lot of the, you'll have some new professors, but a lot of the same professors will be around working in that program as well.
Yes. And just so you know, if you were to do that, you would get an entirely new I-20. It's called a change of level I-20. So we wouldn't process that as like an extension of your existing program because you're still going to finish that degree at whatever date that you do. But we'll give you this new I-20 to go on to the next degree level. We have, again, officially call that a change of level I-20. But the good news is you don't have to pay that CVIS fee again. Your ID number will actually stay the same. It will carry over. So you don't have to pay the money again for that new program.
That's one nice bonus, right?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, you know, it's expensive, but you only have to pay that fee one time. All right. Finally, to conclude our acronym here, the S stands for stay in touch. So we have many different means of reaching out to the ISSS office. I know we've just thrown a lot of information at you. There's a whole lot more to learn and things that can come up unexpectedly. So anytime you have questions, you're always welcome to reach out to us through virtual appointments. We do in-person conversations through what we call drop-in advising, and we offer those most days of the week. And we also offer phone advising. If you're off campus and just can't make it into Marcus Hall for any reason, you can always call in for phone advising as well. The hours do vary a little bit. I'd also want to highlight a lot of you guys are going to be over at Discovery Park campus. And so on Wednesdays in the afternoon from 1 to 4:30, we do offer advising specifically at the Discovery Park campus as well. So you're welcome to drop by and ask us any questions you have there. And you don't have to necessarily travel all the way to campus to do it. Our office regularly is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for things like document pickup. If you've applied for OPT, we encourage you to actually put our mailing address just because it's secure. Unfortunately, I have seen, you know, things get stolen out of a student's mailbox or the student moved and they forgot to update anyone and it got sent to the wrong place. So our office isn't going anywhere. You can always mail it to us and we'll just notify you to then come to the front desk to pick it up. And we'll do that for Social Security letters. We didn't go too much into that process, but if you're going to be working on campus, you'll need to pick up a Social Security letter. And there's basically a support letter that our office will write that you can then take to the Social Security Administration to get your actual physical card. And just so you know, you probably haven't been to campus yet, but if you're already starting to look through Google Maps or whatever else, we are located in Marcus Hall, or sometimes you'll hear it pronounced Marquise or Marquis, Marcus Hall, Suite 110. Our email is internationaladvising, just one word altogether, at unt.edu. And you can also see our phone number there. You're welcome to reach out to us as a prospective student even before you arrive, and we'll be glad to answer any questions that we can.
And fun facts, Justin, when my unit moved into Marcus Hall, and I do call it Marcus Hall, we were told that the family pronounces the name Marquis.
Oh, okay. So
and I said, well, I
whole new
cannot say that. Yeah, I said,
Yeah,
I cannot say Marquis, and the family is not here, so we will say Marcus Hall.
Yeah, that's funny. Lisa and I were talking about our own names earlier and how people, you know, choose to pronounce their names in different ways. So that's funny. Different
Yes.
pronunciation that even I haven't heard.
And all of you, please feel free when you get here and you start talking to your professors and to staff to, you know, correct us on how to pronounce your name. We'll do our best. And I do want to point out that Justin is in Marcus Hall, right? You're there today in Marcus Hall. It's a beautiful building, and they have so many activities going on all the time over at Marcus Hall in room 130, I think it is, or maybe 150, 120, something like that.
Yeah, it just depends on the size of the event. But yeah, that's a great point. We have lots of activities, different cultural and learning groups. Today we're doing what's called the Flag Parade. This is a fun activity that hopefully you guys will get to participate in. All the students from around campus will carry the flag of either their home country or another country, and we'll actually march all around campus. We have our a student group of like African style drumming, and they'll usually kind of do the cadence and we'll walk around and then we'll all take pictures at the center of campus. So lots of different activities going on that we'll do throughout the year. Our international events office is great. Nicole Conant and her team are very good about programming different things. There's usually at least something once a week going on either here in our building or around campus. So yeah, hope you guys will participate in that when you get here.
Exactly. And although Justin's in Marcus Hall, he did mention Discovery Park. I'm at home today. Obviously, this is not a Discovery Park office, but I work in Discovery Park in the dean's office with Dean Kinshuk, who will be the dean of your college. And Discovery Park also has lots of activities going on. This, you know, the Division of Student Affairs plans lots of activities for specifically Discovery Park people. And then our college also plans a lot of activities and fun things to do. Of course, you're coming here to study, but we also want you to get engaged in our activities and have some fun with us. So let's go ahead, speaking of fun, and go to the last slide. Oh, this is not the last.
Yeah.
We forgot to talk about this. Go ahead. This is not fun.
So yeah, dramatic pause before the fun part. Just a brief note on international student insurance. All international students do have to have health insurance. Do want to let you know that our office does not actually administer the UNT insurance plan. That's done through our Student Health and Wellness Center. So if you do have questions about the insurance, most common question is, hey, I already have health insurance, or my mom or dad do, and I'm on their plan. Can I get that waived? Those kind of questions can be referred to the Student Health and Wellness Center. It's specifically their insurance department. So their email is shwcinsurance@unt.edu. If you can't remember that, or if we have to move on to the next slide, you can also email shwc@unt.edu, and they'll very likely forward it to the insurance division.
Yeah, go ahead and grab a screenshot of, or take a picture with your phone. It's a good idea to get that sorted out kind of before you get here, right? So you know what your requirements will be. And isn't the cost of tuition includes insurance, doesn't it?
I think by default that charge is applied. There are some limited conditions for waivers, but basically the insurance has to be identical. It has to offer the exact same type of coverage in order to get it waived. And it's not the most fun part of the experience. So it's, apologize for that. But yeah, you do want to make sure that you are covered. And I do believe it is by default applied to your tuition and fees.
Yeah, it's kind of like going to the bank or to a car dealership. Not fun, but hopefully you get out of there with a good result.
Right, exactly.
Oh, another slide. Go ahead.
I got just a couple more housekeeping things. So don't forget your document check-in. You can actually go ahead and access that through that QR code there. This is what it looks like in iNorth, Texas. So when you log back in, you'll see that F1 when you arrive, and there's that required document check-in e-form. So really, you'll probably want to wait till you arrive, because there's part of it, again, we didn't go into too much about this process, but sorry, my security service is calling me for some reason. That's a little concerning. When you arrive, there is an arrival record. It's officially called an I-94. You won't have that yet, though, so you really can't do this part of the process until you arrive in the United States. All right. Once again, if you need to contact us, we're located in Marcus or Marquis Hall 110. And that's our phone number, and our email address is internationaladvising@unt.edu. Our webpage, which has a lot of this information that we just went over, can be found at international.unt.edu. And I think that should be the last slide. So we should be ready to move on to our second Kahoot section.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for a minute while I pull up the Kahoot. But in the meantime, did you know that the College of Information has highly ranked programs? Our MS in data science, I already dropped this nugget earlier, but information science and learning technologies are all ranked #2 in the United States by Fortune Online Course Report and College Values Online, respectively. And there's a link to all of our rankings. So if you want to go take a look at all of the rankings that we have for the College of Information programs, feel free to do so. So give me just 1 minute to pull up the Kahoot. We have a second chance to win badges. Share my screen again. Okay, can everyone see my screen okay? We're going to get a pin here again, and you're going to go to kahoot.it or scan. And it looks like we have 41 people in our group right now. Oh, Rashini was first again. Weren't you first last time? Someone doesn't play around.
Mm-hmm. Quick on the draw.
Quick on the draw. Very good. We like to see that. I do see we do have some questions in the chat, and we will get to them after this second Kahoot game ends. We'll go through the chat and take a look at all the questions that have been put there. And Justin, if you want to start previewing them at all, see if you can answer any of them.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
If there are questions that we cannot directly answer, we will certainly do our best to find out how we can get your email, and we can go back and forth and find the right person to answer your question. But Justin is the master. So hopefully he can answer any immigration questions you have. Now, if they're non-immigration questions, it could be that we'll have to find you another source. We'll see. We have 36 people in the Kahoot so far. We still have more people out there that could join, up to 40. So there's 4 of you that haven't joined. I'm going to give you another 30 seconds to get joined, and then we'll start.
If you guys wouldn't mind, if you're going to ask a question, if you can ask it in the general chat and not a direct message, that way everyone can see it, unless it's, a very personal question or something like that. That way, hopefully we can put the answers in there, and other people might have a similar question so we can answer it.
Excellent point. Yes, of course, if it's very private and personal, you can send it directly to Justin or me. Although I'm not the immigration expert, remember, I'm just the hostess. Okay, we're up to 37 people, up to 38. We're making really great progress. There's only 2 of you that haven't joined, and maybe you don't want to join. I don't know. So we're going to get started here in 10 seconds. You got 10, 9, 8, 7. Oh, good job. Got in just in time. We have 39, 2, 1. Let's start. Part 2. Remember, you have to be fast, so no time to Google. Okay, great. 26 of you were paying attention to Justin when he said that you have to be enrolled 9 hours or more, both fall and spring. Now, I personally wouldn't recommend more than 9 hours. I know that some students do that and they take 12 hours of graduate work, but I'm not kidding you. You're going to be busy with 9 hours. The classes are a lot. They require a lot of your time, effort, and energy. And if you want to get an on-campus job, or you want to just have some time to join some of these wonderful activities that Justin and I were talking about, 9 hours is plenty. But again, you decide for yourself. That's just a recommendation. Okay, let's see who was fastest. Okay, so we have a new top person that we haven't seen before. And also second place. And then I think, Hema, is this the same person as before that had the second place win last time? Let's see. Sandy, are you playing? I saw Sandy on there.
Sorry, I will respond.
It's okay,
slower.
you can play. Respond slower. Okay, good job. You were all listening to Justin, except for 5 of you. 5 of you need to know that 6 of your credits, so basically 2/3 of your credits for graduate students, need to be in-person classes on campus. And this is just a rule that the US, government requires. So we don't have any way to get around it. I suppose, Justin, when it really comes down to it, there might be some ways that you can file for requests and stuff for really specific situations. Is that true?
Yes, there are. And again, we were just trying not to bombard you with too much
Yeah.
information. There's a method for getting a hybrid course or an online course that is still going to have some type of on-campus component. For example, it might be 100% online course, but you're going to have to come to campus for a study group. You're going to have to come to campus to turn in a paper or something like that. The professor can list, presentation, various other reasons. And the professor can specify that, yes, the student will still be required to come to campus on this date, this date, and this date, and we can authorize that as well. There are other circumstances that we can work with, but that's, again, we're not trying to bombard you with too much information, but in general, the student needs to be enrolled in 6 on-campus classes.
And those will be indicated when you're signing up for classes. And the advisors, besides Justin's your first best friend, but your second best friend is the advising staff. And the advising staff, I don't recommend ever registering for anything until you've talked to the advisors and gotten their sign off on what you've selected for your courses.
Now that does bring up a good point. So I officially, my title is Senior Immigration Advisor, but the key word there is immigration. So you'll hear the word advisor used a lot. Our office, once again, is primarily concerned with your immigration status. We are not your academic advisors. That will be through the department, and in your case, the College of Information. So if you have a question about, do I have to take this specific section of the course, or should I take this course in the spring semester or the fall? Maybe I want to get another certificate or anything related to the academic side of the program. Don't come to our office because we can't answer those questions for you. So in those cases, you'll want to go directly to your academic advisor to discuss academic related questions.
Exactly. And we are going to have a meeting like this with our academic advising staff later. So, as you get closer to getting ready to think about what you're going to register for. So be sure to be watching for my emails that will tell you the different meetings that we'll be having. And the link to the website will help you too. Okay,
And
let's
of
see
course,
who. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just conversely, don't go to your academic advisors to ask them questions about your I-20 or extending your program or things like that. Yeah.
That, Justin, was drilled into my head 25 years ago when I started at UNT. Never answer immigration questions for students because we're not the experts. Now, we may think we know because we heard, or I just listened to Justin's wonderful presentation. So I did learn something, but maybe in a semester, something has changed. Things change all the time. Oh. All right, so I see that Hemant is at the top, and Svarup, I remember that name from before, and Vaishnavi, I remember your name too, so you guys tend to be the fastest. We'll see what happens next. Don't forget, you are here to study, number one. Okay, good job. Sounds like most of you know that you can work on campus for 20 hours a week. And Justin, they don't have to do anything for that, right? They go apply for jobs on Handshake. If they
Right.
get off,
So typically the application process is the same. The extra step that they'll want to do is, as we talked a little bit about, they'll need to obtain a social security card to get paid and to get all the onboarding stuff completed. And there's a specific e-form in I-North Texas to request a letter from us. And it will basically confirm that, say, yes, this person is a student. They are working UNT dining services or Avesta Cafe or wherever they are. And they're going to start on this date, and it's signed by ourselves. And that they will take along with their offer letter from whatever employer is going to employ them. And they'll go to the Social Security Administration to get the office. But they don't have to file, unlike OPT, for example, where you have to file a lot of paperwork and pay fees and all this other stuff. You don't have to do any of that for on-campus employment. We don't even actually have to report your on-campus employment in CVIS. There's really no record of that beyond the issuance of that letter that we gave you.
Okay, great. Let's see where we are now on our, okay, so Swarup took the top. I think we have one more question. This one should be an easy one. Don't let the photo fool you. By the way, that's Scrappy. He's our mascot. Uh-oh, two of them chose Scrappy.
These two people are going to Scrappy with their questions. Yeah.
Scrappy's a great resource. Even Scrappy says, and Scrappy's a lot of fun, but Scrappy doesn't have immigration information. And the UNT Career Center is a great resource for, helping with your resume, cover letters, and even finding how to search for and find jobs. But they cannot answer immigration questions. All your immigration questions have to be through the ISSS or ISSS. I don't know why it has to be so many S's.
I know.
Office. All right, let's see who the winners are. And again, will the winners, when you see your name pop up, please put your name in the chat. Oh, I didn't even see that name before. I feel like something's going on here. Okay, so number one is Swarup. Good job. I'm going to mark down that you're number one, or you could also put it in the chat for me. And then Meg, MEJGH, is number three. And Vinay is number two. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you, Sandy, so much for your help. Thank you, Justin. Let's all give Justin a round of applause for his wonderful information that he provided for us.